am Tiffany with Savvy Revolution, and I am here at the iCoat studio, and we are working with epoxy, and we are creating a bowl. If you are interested in finding any of my other products, you can find me at Savvy Revolution at Instagram and at Facebook.
We're back with Tiffany from Savvy Revolution, and we're going to, actually she's going to make a bowl. I'm going to make some epoxy because I just love doing it. We've got our iCoat countertop epoxy here. This is a 1 gallon kit. We're going to use a variety of colors. I'll explain to you as we're going along. But first I'm going to mix some epoxy. You can wear gloves if you don't like getting sticky stuff on your hands. I've gotten kind of used to it over the years, so I don't worry about it too much. But we're going to mix up the two components. It's a 1-to-1 epoxy, so you're mixing half A, half B. I like to work with my epoxy at about 85 to 90 degrees. At that temp, it'll take off a lot faster than it would at, say, 75. And if you get down into 65, you're gonna mix bubbles into it that you don't want. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. One of the things that's really unique about our system, we talked about this the other day, is that I can do any color or any shade of any color. And just to show you what I'm talking about here, this is our super stain. It's mostly like an ink. So if I put in just a little bit, so you can literally make any shade of any color, which is really unique in this industry. Usually your powder is going to be a predetermined color, and if they've got 6 or 8 or 10 of them, that's what you're limited to. This, you can make anything that you like.
Okay. Now, does it matter if you add too much or too little?
You're not going to be able to add too much of that, and too little is just going to get you a really light color.
Okay.
So it's really not a problem for that. So now we've got those all mixed up. What I'm going to do is we're just going to pour those out right here on the table, correct? Mm-hmm. And
in whatever design, just in a circular shape.
Have a little fun with some different colors here. Put some of this in the middle.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is that big enough, or do we need?
Yep, no, that's perfect. It'll get bigger. It's going to expand as it starts to set up.
Do a little bit of this one in there.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that looks kind of cool, just like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we got our colors out there, and you can do any color you want. This is a metallic, so you can start to see some of the little bits of metallic effect there, but we're going to spray some spray paint over that. And I always teach people, oh my God, you're ruining it. It looks terrible. Things like that, but the longer that sits, the cooler it's going to look. Once that sets up for a few minutes, if you see there's some bubbles in it, things like that haven't released, a lot of them will likely release over time, but we're going to expedite that by taking a torch. And I don't know if you can see the bubbles coming out, but that'll lay like an absolute piece of glass here in a second. Let me recap. Okay, we've used Super Stain. We've used the Arctic White Mica Powder. We used Grandpa Dirty Super Stain. We used Seafoam Green Dispersion Color. And the difference between the Super Stains and the dispersion colors is that the micron size of this is so much smaller. It'd be like a BB compared to a basketball. So the Super Stains, you can go very, very deep pigmentation without muddying up the effect of the mica powder. So it's clarity. You can also cast clear tinted resin with any color by using the Super Stain. It'll be completely translucent, just pigmented. So in this one, we're going to put it into some water, and we're going to dilute it, and we're going to spray it on top of the epoxy, and then we're going to take the heat gun and shrink the water out of this and just leave the elastomeric. So it's going to be kind of a cool effect. We did this one the other day.
Yes.
And it came out pretty cool. So the dilution rate that I like to spray at is 3 parts of water to 1 part of color. It can be used straight out of the bottle. It can be diluted 5 to 1 if you want, but for our purposes here, we're gonna want it 3 to 1 so that we don't have as much water in there. Okay, then we're just gonna come in and
And the water doesn't harm the epoxy at all? Okay.
yeah, if this was a countertop and we're doing this effect, we would end up probably putting a second coat on there because we're going to be adding a lot of heat and things. So in some of the areas you can see I'm putting a lot more, a lot less. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on what you want to end up
So
with
on a
in the
tumbler,
end.
I would do another coat on top of it?
Yeah, you could, or you could use the 2112 over the top of it too,
Okay.
either way. You see,
Oh, that is
really
amazing. Okay, so right now we're just going to let it sit, and it's going to sit until it is still pliable, so we can still move it, but it's not going to be sticky or tacky to the touch. Then we're going to take this whole plastic and we're going to lay it over a bowl, and we're just going to let it sit from there. As soon as it hardens, you separate it from the plastic and you will have a beautiful, gorgeous bowl that you can use in a decor. You can put a candle in it, you can put a plant in it. It would just be beautiful home decor for anybody, or a gift. You know, you want to give a gift of a beautiful bowl.
Sure.
Or you can turn it into a lampshade. You can take it and cut the hole in the middle and turn it into this gorgeous lampshade, which I will be doing soon.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Okay, so right now we are to the point where we can put it underneath the bucket to create the bowl effect. So our epoxy is pretty tacky. It's not moving when we lift. So this is a good time to put it on here. Now we're kind of sticky under here, so we have a breach. So we're just going to lay out your plastic, and you're just going to kind of puff it where you want it to be. So we just kind of want it to just kind of float, and now you're just going to leave it sitting here until it is completely hard, and you can remove it from the plastic, and you will have this gorgeous bowl. Good morning, this is Tiffany Sturdivant again with Savvy Revolution. We let the bowl dry overnight, and now we are going to see and unveil it and see what it comes out to. So we're going to move the bucket aside, and we're going to pull the plastic out carefully. You don't want to pull it out too hard. It is still a little soft because it is a little bit thicker. And it kind of gets a little hooked in some of the crevices. You can shine this up with any kind of sealer or spray, glossy spray, to shine this bowl up. And you have this gorgeous bowl here. Now, if you would like it to be smaller and to hold it in more, you can use some tape and just put it back on top of your little bowl, and you can kind of tape your edges, and it can hold it a little tighter. Or if you want it to open up more, which I like when it kind of opens up and it's just going to kind of to lay there. Okay, so we have our bowl here. It's a nice little bowl. It's a little tippy. So we can trim up some of these edges. So any edges that are like kind of heavy, you can take some scissors because it is a little bit softer, and you can just kind of cut through, and it will give you whatever look you want.